Can you hear me? I don't want to hear myself tonight. Yeah, sometimes I fight so many battles that you'll never see. And I know you've been fighting too, just like me. There's no place we can go where our hearts stay whole. Empty chairs and folded flags remain, but your love still runs through our veins. We tell the stories, keep the flame alive. You gave us reason to survive, and though we miss your touch, your spirit lifts us up. Heroes in the sky don't have to fly so high. We feel you every day. You're never far away. Heroes in the sky, your love still gets us by. We carry on your name. You're not so far.
Welcome in. Look at there.
I was getting into it. So
I love the intro. Love the intro.
Absolutely.
So welcome in, Sean. We have let's thank our sponsors first and get into the couple of episodes we've got, because we want to thank our sponsors, the American Legion Post 135. American Legion Post 135 is located in historic downtown Savannah at 1108 Bull Street. They are a member of the largest veteran service organization in the nation. They were founded on the principles of service to our veterans and to our community, state, and nation. Their membership is open to any veteran who has served honorably and to active duty service members. They are home to the local 1110, Betty Bombers, Brighter Day, Centennial Bean, and Lee Chai, and their bar is open to the public. They hold several events in their ballroom each year that are open to the public. And guess what, Sean? If you want to rent the American Legion Ballroom in that fantastic space, you contact our friends there, and you can. That's available for the public to rent.
Nice. I'm gonna have to be down there sometime and check that out. Just because, with what we do at Nautical Salute, it's always about finding great venues and partners that have a space that allows us to serve our mission too. Absolutely.
And we've picked up a few more sponsors. We had them in there. So we want to thank Annie Montenegro from Rawls Realty for her support. And then also we want to thank Mari Bennett from Realty. Yep. I always mess this one up. So Realty One Group Inclusion. So thank you, Mari Bennett. If you are in the Savannah area and you are in the market for a new house, both of these realtors are fantastic. So reach out to our friends Mari and Annie and let them hook you up. Thank y'all for y'all's support.
That's one of the things I love about doing this and partnering with you, James, and Heroes in the Sky, is the reach that we have, within the community of people who just appreciate, number one, what we're doing to help veterans as well as their family members and such, because, without having the family members and the support, at the end of the day, we don't have veterans to help.
Right. Well, and what's really cool about our realtor friends over here is Annie Montenegro is a real estate expert. I mean, she helped me buy both of my house now. She's been fantastic. And then even Mari. So the cool thing about Mari Bennett is the more houses she sells, she gives back to veteran organizations. So she's part of the home. She's part of the Homes for Heroes program. So Mari is very selfless when she makes sales and closes deals, and we thank her for that. And she's just very supportive of our organization and other veteran organizations as well.
Yeah. And I know before we get into tonight, our topic and such, I kind of want to just tee up what we've got going on between today and tomorrow. Today is like the prelude to what's going to be happening tomorrow, but tonight is going to be focusing still on, the primary focus of our mission here. And tomorrow is a very historic day that didn't take effect until 2018. Just so everybody listening, just so you guys know, June 12th is officially Women's Veterans Day. Far too long. The women that volunteer and serve our country are, overlooked. And we've done many discussions on either TikTok or whatnot or even in person of just how many times female veterans are overlooked, and especially if they're married to another veteran. And tomorrow we're going to get to highlight them and talk to some of them tomorrow. But I think even later on today in the show, we're going to actually play a video that we put together to honor them.
Yeah, I think I wanted to, as we get into kind of start it with that to set the tone. But so, what do you think?
I mean, there's no time like the present.
Right. So, I just want to highlight, we are the episode tonight and then the episode tomorrow, two different structures. Tonight, we are talking about women's veterans, their service to the armed forces, some statistics surrounding them and the challenges they face. But tomorrow, we are actually bringing in other women veterans to talk about these challenges firsthand. So you don't want to miss tomorrow as well. One of the special guests, her name is Susie Suttle, and she is president of the I always mess this up. She's going to kill me, but coastal president of women's veterans of the Coastal Empire. So she'll be joining us tomorrow live, and we may have others. Who knows? So stay tuned for that. That's going to be a great episode. I think we should start with the video, Sean. I think
awesome.
We should. All right, we'll start with that.
Go ahead and roll with it.
Let's roll with it. Yes.
Up her boots before the sunrise came, left behind her family, answered duties, called by name. She stood where the storm clouds gathered in the sky, held her head up high when others wondered why. She carried more than gear upon her back. She carried hope and courage down every rugged track. A mother, daughter, sister, friend, serving something greater until the very end. And some stories never make the evening news, but freedom still stands because of women like you. So today we raise our voices, let the whole world see the women who defended all the things we believe. For every sacrifice, every tear, every mile, she carried with a fearless smile. You wore the uniform with honor every day and helped light the path that others walk today. From grateful hearts across this land so true, happy Women's Veterans Day. America thanks you. Some served on the front line, some served from afar, yet every mission mattered, every battle left its scar. They broke down barriers, opened doors wide, showing future generations how to serve with pride. And when the uniform was folded away, the warrior spirit never really went away. Still serving community, still leading the way, still making this nation stronger every day. Their legacy lives on in every dream pursued. deserve, and your place in our history has always been deserved. And your strength changed lives, your courage made a way, and we're standing here because of what you gave. So today we raise our voices, let the whole world hear our gratitude and respect, growing stronger every year. For every challenge faced and every victory won, for every chapter written beneath the same sun. You carry the flag when your nation calls your name, and because of your service, we're not the same. From sea to shining sea, red, white, and blue. Happy Women's Veterans Day, and thank you for all you do. To every woman who served this nation proudly and well, your story is one that America will always tell. Happy Women's Veterans Day. We honor you. We honor you. We salute you. We thank you. We thank you.
Sorry, I had myself muted. If that doesn't hype you up, I don't. If that doesn't get you excited for the women and the women veterans and what they've given back to us through service and sacrifice to the armed forces, then I don't know what does.
I mean, look, I'm not even gonna lie. It pumped me up when I was making it. You know,
Right?
I was like, wow, this is gonna be cool because between you and I would say probably 2/3 of those women in there we know,
Correct. Yes, we do.
and that's the exciting part about it.
Absolutely. It's awesome to see that, to honor my friends and supporters, in our community that have served this nation, and we get to honor them, today, tomorrow, and every other day after.
Absolutely.
For what they've given.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tonight, the title is "Before There Was a Country, She Was There," and I think that's a fitting title because today and tomorrow, and we should be honoring every day, but especially today
Right.
and tomorrow, we're honoring Women's Veterans Recognition Day, and we're recognizing more than 250 years of women's service to this nation.
Yeah.
And
And the crazy part about it is, I think it's only been really somewhere around like 80 some years that they were allowed to actually be in the traditional armed forces. They were in their own branch kind of like of it prior to. So, or they were only able to serve in certain fields like nursing and some of the postals and logistics, stuff like that.
Right.
But it's just crazy to see how far, a country has come to where we've got women on the front lines, women, attack helicopter pilots, like fighter jet pilots, taking part of some of the most historic missions to ever, plague the earth. I mean, it's just crazy and amazing at the same time. And I'm honored. I really am. I'm honored to see the change in the transitions where, our capable women are able to get in there and just handle business.
Absolutely. Because, by us telling the fuller truth of their service, we're highlighting that courage, the sacrifice, the resilience, and also we're also recognizing some of that hidden pain that some of our women veterans carry. So,
right.
Some of this episode will be highlighting their service, but we are going to get into some of the challenges and some of the mental health side of things. But
yeah,
it's just,
I believe you've pulled some significant stats as well that you're going to get into a little bit later. That's going to really kind of paint a picture of how important they need to be seen as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So let's get into it.
Yeah. So Can you? I guess let's start with what year they actually passed the Service Act.
Ooh, I actually don't know.
So, you ready?
Yep.
It is. I actually looked all of this up. Let me pull that up so we can give the right context. But okay, so women in our country have stood watch over this nation for more than a century. They started, from the Army Nursing Corps in 1901 to gaining permanent status in the armed forces in 1948 by the Women's Armed Services Integration Act of 1948.
Which was post World War II.
Correct. 1948 is when the act passed. And we look at this, and our women veterans have worn a uniform in almost every era of modern conflict. I don't know if people realize that. But, we have more than 500,000 women that have served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and often in harm's way long before women were officially even allowed in combat roles.
Yeah.
And, since 9/11, we've had over 300,000 women that have deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just don't think about it in that vast numbers, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot. But see, that's a lot of daughters, moms, sisters.
Correct.
Like aunts
Mm-hmm.
that are literally uprooting their life to also answer the call. And, because they sign on the dotted line too. I mean,
Right.
Think about that. The mother has also been the nurturing one of the family typically.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, like it's just,
Mm-hmm.
well, I can't say enough of my gratitude. That's just, wow.
Well, and also, today we have more than 2 million women veterans, and nearly 4 of those 5 have served in a wartime situation.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we don't talk about the services and sacrifice that our women veterans make. It's not like a topic we discuss a lot, but I think we need to start introducing these conversations not only today and tomorrow, but moving forward. So
yeah,
our communities understand what our women veterans have given back to this country.
I agree. Absolutely. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm on vacation. So, just because we're away doesn't mean that the podcast doesn't stop. So
Still working.
You may hear some dogs, some kids screaming and crying, but you know what? We're here. Mm-hmm. We're bringing the show to you guys because we also care about you all tuning in as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So June 12th, 2026, Military Women's Memorial commemorates the Women's Veterans Recognition Day on our nation's 250th birthday. More than 250 years of women now service. Here's the thing about it that I think is also interesting, and I may do some additional stats for tomorrow night's show.
Let's do it.
I'm going to dig in because I know for a fact that if you go back to the colonization aspect of the United States, right, to the colonial states and such, everybody, that was also the birth of the Minuteman, right? The farmers and such, they were the first actual line of defense of this country. And I guarantee you there were women picking up muskets then too.
Oh yeah. There had to be women integrated into the colonization, the service.
Yep.
Absolutely.
The defense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The defense, Yeah. But we're talking about women veterans. We're talking about pioneers, because a lot of things that characterize our women veteran service is strength under pressure. A lot of it is service without recognition. Their leadership is forged through adversity. And then this is a legacy written by women who refuse to be left out of history.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, though, we have touched on what the great thing our women veterans have done for the armed forces and our the sacrifice to this nation. But I don't think we could talk about that without talking what that service, the harm's way that service put them in. And what I mean by that, I mean by mental health. And because we look at this, and we know a lot of studies have shown that women's veteran the women's veteran suicide rates are also more than twice those of the civilian women.
Yeah.
Twice. And it also noted too that the younger women veterans carried a higher rate for suicidality as well.
And I think that's been a growing trend across the board, right? Typically amongst younger service members. So it's kind of scary to see that still, even from a female perspective, that they're still right on par from that perspective, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. And we look at this, and the research is going to show, it shows us that the suicide risk among women veterans, it's not derived from just one cause. Like, there's so many factors that go into the suicidality rate of our women veterans, and that could be sexual trauma, that could be intimate partner violence, PTSD, depression, just all those things play into the mental health of our women veterans. And it's important we start talking about that stuff, because these are challenges that they face that they really need help with, they need recognition with.
Yeah.
And why not start it here?
Yeah. And, as I sit here and think about that a little bit too, think about all the moms when they deploy, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have their family care plans that they have to put in place and such, and they have to rely on other family members or whatnot to kind of help, raise their children, because they may not come home from war. And we see the struggle that a lot of males have when we come back from war, just reintegrating. But I think society just expects, the women in our military to just come back and be like, oh, they're still mom, and unfortunately they have to kind of be mom when they come back like that. They don't get near as much time to be able to kind of handle their business per se, right? Or feel like they can get the help that they need. Because they have all these other, motherly duties and such that of societal pressures, right? I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things that I've taken away from some of the research that I've been doing is, the switch can kind of go off from us a little bit easier, with transitioning, but a lot of women who are moms and such, they don't get the break.
No, they don't. And they are the nurturer. They are the caregivers most of the time. I'm not saying that fathers aren't caregivers and et cetera, but in society, women are typically seen in that role. Yep. And they serve front lines, and then they come home, and then they have to put that to the side because they have children to raise and families to raise and support. And we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that sacrifice enough of what they put in, even when they take the uniform off.
Yeah, it's. I mean, some of the things that we talk about, like how research, it summarizes also how to show the women's who screen positive for military sexual trauma are at also a higher risk of suicide death than women veterans who screen negative. That's you have that. We have a lot of complex layers. It's almost like an onion, right? Yep. Every layer you pull back, there's still another layer. And underscoring how trauma, exposes, can have a lasting and deadly, consequence when left untreated and unsupported. And ladies, I want you to know that I do believe that the tides are changing, where there's a lot more support, hopefully in the chain of commands, as well as, in some of the veteran organizations that are there, that, that you do feel more comfortable to stand up and say, hey, I have a voice, and it needs to be heard. And I also want to help, bring these issues to light too.
Yeah. Speaking of voices being heard throughout the episode today and tomorrow, you're going to see quotes pop up on the screen. And these are actually quotes of some of our women's veterans that our friends, our loved ones in our community. This is their stories and their words about their service. So you'll see that as it comes up. But yeah, other things too we talk about with women veterans and challenges is we talk about substance use, and then like loneliness, like some of the loneliness that they can feel, and then even hopelessness and isolation as that contributes to their suicidality rate and the challenges in mental health that they face. And I don't know, I'm grateful for the women veterans in my life, that
Right.
my friends are supporters. There's so many women veterans in our community that I work directly with Heroes in the Sky, and you as well with Nautical Salute.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for their service, but I'm also grateful for them continuing to give back to the community, because a lot of my friends that are female veterans work in the VA systems. They're running organizations like women's veterans of the Coastal Empire, all these valuable resources that other women veterans need to feel like they belong.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what our women veteran, these women veterans are giving back, even after they've taken the uniform off.
One of the organizations that I do a lot of work with, they actually volunteer at the majority of our events, is Sisterhood for Veterans of the Villages. Half of them are either prior service, or the other half are either a dependent or from a spouse or something, or they just are very patriotic, and they want to continue to serve as well, going forward after they've gotten taken off the uniform. It's no different than a lot of us. It's no different than what you and I are doing now. Tri-County Women's Veterans Coalition, like that in Florida. And it's just, when you actually stop and you look at the resources and the opportunities that some of these female veterans are doing to continue to make a bigger impact, because they already know that they're overlooked, right? And I never would have thought they would have been overlooked as much as they are.
Oh, absolutely.
I've seen it firsthand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And because they're overlooked, you get more reported social rejection.
Yep.
More, and a lot of them feel more institutional betrayal comes with that as well, because they are overlooked. That service and sacrifice that we should be highlighting, not just on today and tomorrow, but every day that they serve this country just like we did. They serve their families. They serve their community in some kind of capacity, and we really, really, I hope we set the catalyst for other people to start talking about how great our women veterans are and what they've given back, because it's not right that there's social interjection or isolation. It's they raised their hand just like we did.
Yep, they signed on the same dotted line.
They did, and a lot of times too, you're going to see women with lower self-compassion too, and then that lower self-compassion produces vulnerability for even higher suicide rates. So, well, thank you, John. Welcome in. I don't know. When I start looking at doing the research of our women's veterans and seeing what they've contributed, there's just so much more is needed. So many more of these conversations are needed. Like how many more programs should be highlighting what they're doing and they're not.
Yeah, and how accessible, because we know that as just a regular veteran, right? Just take the male, female, off of it. How blind we are sometimes to what resources are out there, because we just don't know where to look. Cruz, who's in the comments, who's watching in, she's in Puerto Rico, and she's actually spent a couple of days at different events and such, highlighting just in her own state of in Puerto Rico, things that she didn't even know, and she lives there. That's happening and going on, but because she's immersed herself in there. And by the way, that's a little plug. Puerto Rico Nautical Salute is opening up soon, so we're taking it not just from Florida but into Puerto Rico, just because of we have people there. But Jason, welcome in. But thinking about that, it just all matters that from a female veteran and males, but they just want to be seen. They want to be heard. They felt included. And I want to be able to provide those resources to them, because there's also other things that female veterans, need versus what males do, because of the things that most of them, are mothers and such as well.
Right. And, we spoke about this earlier, but, what I want to focus on is the cost of service that unfortunately did not end when they took the uniform off. And we've already said that women veterans face that suicide rate of almost double that of non-women veterans. But when you if you go even further into that, it's almost by firearm. And, and firearms they're the leading means of suicide for our female veterans. And here, get this one. Our women veterans are dying by firearm suicide at a rate 144% higher than the civilian.
Wow. Okay, that's staggering.
144% higher than civilian women. Our female veterans are taking their life by firearm.
Now, do you think it's because they are a lot more comfortable with firearms, do you think?
Well, it's because they're in the house. They're probably in the household. A lot of them might have them for self-protection due to the intimate partner violence they've dealt with, or the military sexual trauma they've been exposed to in the military. They probably feel like they need that protection around them. So the means are there.
Yeah.
And suicide is actually the second leading cause of death for active duty and veteran women ages 18 to 34. So to be up there, like we just said, it's more these women veterans already own these for personal protection uses. But then when you start talking about isolation and despair, you start talking about how many of these women veterans struggle to trust the systems around them because they've been let down, or they feel like they're not heard.
I mean, it's magnified, right? I know personally, several women who've shared this with me as veterans. They face the same struggles that we do when they go to see their mental health providers. In a lot of ways, where if you go in and you see somebody and you want to talk about some of the issues and problems you've had, or even some of the suicide ideations, when you're greeted with, all right, just remember, I'm a mandatory reporter, and if I feel like you need, I'll do what I need to do to make. So that shuts them down, to say, okay, these are real issues that we're dealing with, and if I can't express how this makes me feel, then I'm just going to bury it even deeper again. And because I can't do it at home, and then now I can't do it here.
Well, working in mental health, I see this. I'm not the therapist, but I see a lot of the patterns. And what you'll see with a good therapist is that a good therapist they're not quick to run to, I'm a mandatory reporter. Yes, they are mandatory reporters if their life is in danger, right? But oftentimes, just because they have an ideation or they're thinking about it does not mean their life's in danger. It just means they need to talk about it, or they're having thoughts about it. It doesn't mean a plan's been made. It doesn't mean they're a threat or harm to themselves. But a lot of the problems like you're talking about in the mental health field is if you lead off with, I'm a mandatory reporter, and any little thing you say about suicide, I'm going to report. You're complete. They're not going to open up to you at that point.
Not at all.
You've completely lost them from the start. And because a lot of times these numbers too, women veterans, these are stories of trauma and betrayal. we've said trauma several times, but betrayal is huge in women veterans. And 1 in 3 women in the military report military sexual trauma. 1 in 3, and then 1 in 5 are going to report intimate partner violence. Like these are challenges that male veterans do not face.
Maybe not to the same level, but that it's growing, unfortunately, in that. But let's just talk about something you just hit on, right? You said 1 in 3 women have experienced some level of
military sexual
trauma.
Yes.
But in that same scenario, 1 in 5 will experience it from a domestic partner in some aspect.
Correct.
So now you have overlapping statistics of that 1 in 3 and that 1 in 5 may also be a repeat of that. I mean, how scary is that?
Well, now you see where the betrayal comes in. You see where they feel like they can't trust anybody because of what they've experienced. These are scars that last way longer than than after that uniform comes off. These are scars that rarely go away, and they go unrecognized.
But see, the thing is, you just said the scar. The scar is a visual or an internal memory. Like you're not escaping that.
Right.
It don't even matter if you deal with it, right? You can put all the creams and the treatments that you want onto it. That scar is still there.
Yes, absolutely. And what I really get disheartened about as well is, out of everything we've said great about our women veterans, the service, sacrifice, and valor to our armed forces, the conflicts they participated in, their level of involvement in our major conflicts. Out of all of that, there's still women veterans that they don't even consider themselves a veteran sometimes. Like they won't even talk about themselves being a veteran. That's frightening to me that these women have given so much to our country, but they don't even feel comfortable saying, talking about what they've given back. Like there should be a sense of pride there that you served this nation. You raised your hand, served in a foreign conflict, served wherever you served. But now you've got, upwards of majority of women who won't even admit they're a women veteran, or they don't even see themselves as a veteran from what they went through, from the lack of recognition.
Yeah, it also means in the big scheme of things too that we can't reduce the prevention to just awareness slogans alone, right? No slogan alone is going to fix a problem or an epidemic. 1 in 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
33% of our females that serve experience this, and 20% experience another level from a partner. Now, here's the other crazy part about it. A lot of the females that experience, the sexual trauma and such, they know and they work with these people.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. But we talk about this, and I don't think people understand.
Hey, Evie.
Military sexual trauma, what that looks like. This isn't all rape or sexual assault. How many times if you've deployed or you didn't deploy, were you told that you had to have, if you were a female, you had to have a female battle buddy with you at all times, or if you were a female soldier, and you were there was a male NCO at all times, that female soldier needed to have either a female NCO with them or a female battle buddy with them when in those interactions. And why? Because of fear of the unknown of military sexual trauma. No one talks about what that actually looks like.
But here's the thing, though, and this might be obvious to you and I and to some of the people listening, but why do we have to continue to see these statistics staggeringly grow when systemically there's all these preventions that they try to put in place to prevent it, but it doesn't.
Right.
To me, it almost seems like things have gotten worse to a degree.
Correct. Well,
with a lot of the education, the slogans, and like, oh, we put a poster up. Okay, you put a sharp poster up.
Right. Well, the issue we're going to deal with here, and is how Heroes in the Sky operates, is prevention alone will never be enough. You have to have education. You have to have things around you that will help the lives of these women veterans, that will make them safer in their populations, that will make them feel like they're trustworthy, or they're not going to feel betrayed. If you only have one aspect of it, and you're not putting in the work to the programs to make them feel safer, then we're not doing anything.
Right. No.
What we're not doing. Yeah.
It must. The things that we're talking about. It must involve and include trauma-informed care, meaningful peer support, stronger mental health access, communities willing to sit with women veterans in truth instead of silence. Like, yes, there are the several cases where either gender are falsely accused, but there's still so many more that are true. And because of the stigmas and things like that, a lot of our female veterans don't feel safe to come forward. And I look forward to the day that changes. And I really hope that we get some really brave, female veterans that are willing to stand up and take the fight and say, look, sometimes the sergeant majors who've, fought through and hopefully have gotten the help that they need, or the sergeants, or even the corporals who are like, I'm going to not let this define and defeat me. Right. Mm-hmm. But be an educator, be an advocate, and hopefully, change the ways that some of these things happen in the military.
Absolutely. And exactly, I've been thinking about this as you've been talking. There's generations of women that will be the role model, right?
Yep.
They are going to be the role model for future generations of women veterans to stand on, right? They're pushing these boundaries further and further, reaching higher, so the next generation of women veterans can feel safer, can feel more accomplished, can feel more purposeful, can feel like they can actually have pride in saying they're a veteran. Because that number that I was talking about a minute ago, studies show up to 70% of our women veterans sometimes won't even admit they're a veteran, or they don't even feel like they can. There's no pride in saying they're a veteran, and 70% staggering to me when we're dealing with the amount of numbers that our women veterans serve, and so but our women veterans that we're highlighting, that we're talking about, they are the rock. So they are the state. They are that foundation. So as our future generations of women veterans are listening, or they may be already serving, they have those principles to stand on, to stand up for what's right.
Yep. Honoring the legacy, right, means a lot more than just applause alone. It means protecting the lives of the women who carried that legacy forward. And today, on looking forward to tomorrow's recognition of Women's Veterans Day, we obviously want to honor and celebrate their service, their strength, their commitment to the whole story, right? Like that's the thing about this, right? With breaking the silence and such, it's the whole picture, and it takes pioneers and it takes strong service members to be the ones to be the change and to stand on business, as the kids say today, and to say it with their whole chest. But I do think that they also deserve to have their champions behind them, supporting them. because it's obviously it's about changing lives, and changing culture, as well as like just changing tomorrow so that it's a safer, better, more lethal military.
Absolutely. And one of the things too that I would really like to see our community start championing more towards our women veterans
Yeah.
is making it where they have a stronger connection to our veteran support systems, where they don't feel like it's disconnected, or the connect, where that whole system of betrayal, that whole system of isolation, there needs to be movements where our female veterans today have a stronger connection to these support systems and don't shy away from them.
Yep.
Because they need that support. Like, they need that support. They need that structure. And we're talking about challenges with women veterans that a lot of us, our male veterans, will never understand.
No, and I don't even want to pretend to understand.
No, and I absolutely not. But this is the veteran community that we really have to start including our women veterans in. These women served in our armed forces. They stood up for this country, and they are part of our veteran community. And us as veterans we need to include them. We need to stand behind them, support them, and if we know, and push for what we know is right, what we need to be doing.
James, you just said something, and I kind of want to highlight this, because I do feel, and I don't know how you feel, but like I feel like when I come in, across, female veterans who are, struggling sometimes, who are also just kicking ass, pardon my French there, but making a difference, right? For themselves, and finding their new purposes, and finding what their next mission is going to be. I want to be a champion in a safe place to help lift them up onto a platform, to say, hey, you've got it. What are you going to do with it? Let's develop a strategic plan, and let's get it out there, because it matters. And I want, if I want to hear, James wants to hear, like, I treat him as one of my troops. And that's just the NCO in me. I don't know any different.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Thinking about this, things just pop in my head. There's a famous speech that at University of Texas back in 2014, I think it was Rear Admiral William McRaven, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that speech?
I've heard about it. I've not actually watched it.
It starts off, he makes some good points, and it's really motivational. And like I said, this is not my ideas. Clearly, he's already said this in the speech. But what I want to talk about is our women veterans. Their service, their sacrifice is real, and their recognition and their voices are real. And our women veterans are making decisions in challenging situations that are saving people's lives. And here's an example. One of the stories that Rear Admiral talks about, right, was a female engagement NCO, or female engagement of NCO something didn't seem right. The road was quiet, something was off, and because that female NCO, or that female on the female engagement team, because they didn't feel something that was right, and they said something about it, they saved the lives of everybody on that convoy, because that quiet road carried enough IEDs and explosives to blow up a town.
Yeah, but that's just experience, right? That's like that intuition, that spidey sense that you get, and you do it long enough. It doesn't matter if you're male or female or not. Like, you got it.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, our female veterans are making the same hard decisions that a lot of us had to make in our service.
Exactly.
But yet when they come home, they don't feel recognized. They don't feel like their service mattered. They don't feel like that people they feel like people don't understand them, and that isolation and the despair kicks in because the challenges they face are sometimes a little different than what we face. And I want to be the advocate that thanks these female veterans for what they've given us, giving them the recognition they need, amplifying their voices, and telling those women veterans that if you're one of those 70% that feel like you can't identify as a veteran because of the distrust or the isolation or the recognition that you didn't get, then we need to start changing. We need to change that right now. I'm recognizing you. I'm recognizing that 70% of women veterans that feel like they don't have enough pride to say they're a veteran. We're recognizing you today.
And we've got a few people watching. I'd love to hear from some female veterans that we have watching. If you feel comfortable, do we have a commercial that we can play?
Yeah, let's go to commercial break and come back.
Let me lead this before we go to commercial break. Think about some of the things that you have experienced during your time in service, where you want to share something about the leadership classes or what would actually benefit you guys from a perspective of how can we do our part to make you all also feel more included, and so that we're also doing things in a way that's not speaking for you, but speaking up with you. So let's get ready to go to commercial break, and we come back. Hopefully, we've got some comments that we can address.
Yeah, let me get that commercial going right here, real quick.
Hopefully, Evie. I don't know who all specifically still here. But I know that there's a few people still watching from a couple of our different platforms. So,
absolutely. So let's go to commercial break. We'll come back and take some more comments.
It was supposed to sound heroic.
I'm waiting on word.
Like victory speeches. Like medals hitting a wooden table, like somebody finally saying, "You made it." But healing? Healing sounded more like silence. Like sitting in the truck too long after work, because home felt safer when the engine was still running. Like staring at a grocery store aisle, trying to remember why your heart suddenly started racing. Like waking up at 2:13 in the morning, sweating through memories you never asked to keep. See, they trained us to survive the battlefield, but nobody really taught us how to survive ourselves afterward. Nobody talked about how trauma follows you home wearing civilian clothes. How it hides in fireworks, crowded rooms, empty bottles, divorce papers, missed phone calls, and the sentence, "I'm fine." Especially that sentence. I know veterans who carried entire teams on deployment, but struggle to carry groceries inside the house now. Men and women who could navigate chaos overseas, but can't navigate their own thoughts when the room gets quiet. And still, they wake up. Still, they fight. That matters. You hear me? That matters. Because hope isn't always loud. Sometimes hope is just making the appointment, answering the phone, talking for the first time, saying, "No, I don't think I'm okay." That's courage too. Maybe even the purest kind. See, the world loves the image of the warrior, but healing asks something harder. It asks the warrior to become human again, to let people in, to trust again, to stop apologizing for wounds nobody can see. And that process, it's ugly sometimes. There are setbacks, bad nights, anger that shows up uninvited, days where depression feels heavier than body armor ever did. But there are also moments, small moments, where light gets through. A kid's laugh, a sunrise after a sleepless night, brothers and sisters sitting around a table finally telling the truth, a stranger saying, "Me too." That's where healing begins. Not in pretending the trauma never happened, but in realizing the trauma doesn't get to write the ending. You survived war. You survived loss. You survived becoming someone you barely recognized. Now comes the hardest mission of all, believing you deserve peace too. And maybe peace doesn't mean forgetting. Maybe peace is learning that your scars are not proof you're broken. They're proof you kept going. So to every veteran still fighting battles nobody sees, you are not weak for needing help. You are not forgotten. And your story, it is not over.
All right, I think we got to mute. I can't hear you.
Okay,
There you
better.
go.
Did we have any comments from our warriors in the audience there?
No, I think people were just watching and listening and just kind of watching the statistics and such. Which, wow, I mean, I know I wrote that, but man, that's just that's deep. And see, that applies to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, that's the thing. Here is in the Sky Foundation, we're advocating for not just veterans, but it's those first responders, it's corrections, it's nurses, healthcare industry, all of those populations with higher than normal suicide rates or elevated risk for suicide. So, but absolutely.
but I tell you, this has been a great show, James. And man, I think that the more that people tune into this and hear some of these statistics and hear the impacts that some of our veterans, especially our female veterans, that are making and how they're taking the fight, to take control of themselves is only going to continue to make this grow. So yeah,
Absolutely. And we've got no risk, no rest for the weary. We've got tomorrow. We'll be right back at it with some first perspective point of views from our female veterans, and we'll actually have guests in the studio with us.
Awesome. Well, I know we're coming. I know we're about 45 seconds out for being on an hour, and I know that there's a lot that we've got to get done. Is there? Maybe we got time to kind of thank some of our sponsors and get ready to close this out.
Yeah. So thank you all for listening. We want to appreciate everyone that engaged with us tonight. It's been an honor tonight to highlight the service and sacrifice of our women veterans and what they've given to our armed forces in our country. And I'm excited to extend this outreach tomorrow. But yeah, we want to thank our sponsors over at American Legion Post 135 in Savannah, Georgia. Their American Legion Post 135 is located in historic downtown Savannah at 1108 Bull Street. They are a member of the largest veteran service organization in the nation. They were founded on the principles of service to our veterans and to our community, state, and nation. Their membership is open to any veteran who has served honorably and to active duty service members. They are home to the local 1110, Betty Bombers, Brighter Day, Centennial Bean, and Lee Chai, and their bar is open to the public. They hold several events in the ballroom each year. And here's the best part, Sean. If you want to rent that ballroom, it is for rent in beautiful downtown Savannah. Our friends just contact our friends over at the American Legion. They'll give you a great rate, and you can just experience that culture and atmosphere. And outside of our American Legion Post 135, we want to welcome our new sponsors as well. Annie Montenegro from Rawls Realty, AnnieSellsGeorgia.com. Her number is on the screen right there. If you're looking for a realtor in the area, she is an expert in this area. And we also want to thank Mari Bennett as well with Realty One Group Inclusion. Both of these realtors are excellent at what they do. If you are in the Savannah, Georgia area, or if you are planning to move to Savannah and you need to purchase a home, please contact our sponsors here.
Yep.
And Mari Bennett is what Mari Bennett does as well is she's in that Homes for Heroes affiliate as well. So when she is successful in her job, she turns around and selflessly puts that money back into veteran organizations. So thank you, Mari. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, American Legion Post 135. Thank you, Sean, for continuing this ride.
Hey.
You know,
we have a lot to continue to build on, and that's the beautiful thing about this, brother. Thank you, sponsors from the bottom of our hearts, because we wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. But also, we have some things coming up in the next couple of months too. So I know the 4th of July, we've got at our American Legion Post 219, where I'm a post service officer for Combat Kitchen, and myself, we're going to be out there cooking for everybody for the 4th of July Veterans Day, 4th of July's 250th celebration. So that's going to be a great time. There's going to be a cornhole tournament. August 8th, we've got a seafood boil going on. And then August 22nd, we're going to be in Jacksonville Beach for a veterans Vet Legacy Road to 100's inaugural event that they're going to be putting on, and that Nautical Salute's going to be participating, as well as Heroes in the Sky. So, and you've got a couple other things coming up, don't you?
Yeah, we've got. Well, I'm excited for July the 4th because while I'd want to be there with y'all, I'm pretty proud dad. My daughter works out at Fort Pulaski here in the coastal Empire area, and they're doing a special out there, and she's asked us to come see her. And so when your child asks you to come see what she's doing, and it's pretty special. So we're looking forward to that. And then we are going to be at the August 8th event. So Heroes in the Sky will be making a presence there, helping cook for that event at the Legion. I had such a good time doing it the first time. Couldn't miss it this time. And then as we get closer, Heroes in the Sky will have our next big travel event in October of this year. So we will be traveling to Austin, Texas to dedicate Battle Vest 22-10 to Cowboy Harley Davidson. And so we'll have more details as we get closer, but that's going to be our next big travel adventure. I'm excited for that. John Salerno, who was in here earlier. So it's going to be involving with what they're doing, and Glenn Larson Law Group there in Austin. So we're excited for that. And it's just going to be a great time, honoring warriors, traveling, educating, showing people, highlighting what the challenges that we're facing in the suicide epidemic, or the plague, as I like to call it, because we haven't got anywhere near solving it. So, yeah.
All right. Well, I guess close this out, and we're going to say tune in tomorrow.
Yeah. So thank y'all for listening to us. Thank you to our sponsors. We will see y'all back on the mic tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do not miss tomorrow's episode. We will have special female veteran guests joining our studio, giving their point of view. It's just going to be such an amazing episode. Thank y'all for everything. Heroes in the Sky, Nautical Salute out.